What's going on, guys? Vic VP back with another Gamecase Arcades video. On this one today, you were looking at the newest addition to my ByVic series arcade cabinets. I present to you the ByVic 55-inch two-player arcade cabinet, totally custom. There's so many custom add-ons. We have the 27-inch active marquee. We have a stream deck in the panel, and the first time ever, the 32-inch swinging front door. I'm fucking killing it. It's the ByVic series. Let's take a look at this monster. Oh, look at it. It's an all white, the Ironman edition. Let's take a look. You know the drill. If you're not following me on all the socials, what are you waiting for? Be sure to follow me at Vic_VP. There's a convenient Linktree link down below. Click it. You'll see the website. You'll see all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Red Note now. Be sure to follow all the socials. Also, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the newest addition to my ByVic series arcade cabinets. Quite popular and quite requested. The two-player. People want two players, and that is A-okay. I'm gonna go in-depth on this. Again, big shout out real quick to my buddy Joel Retro Lizard. He said something in his live stream. When you have like this vision, you have this like idea, and you got to get it from your brain to CNC and cutting wood and track saws and then seeing it standing, finally done. It's an amazing feeling. Again, this right here, totally custom. I can't take all the credit. The customer had ideas. I was up for the challenge, but I cannot lie to you, this was a challenge. Specifically, the marquee. I get this request a lot. There's a lot to discuss, but the end result, man, it's fucking amazing. It's beautiful, dude. I love this. This is it. This is just the thing about my ByVic series. We'll talk. We're going to talk. This is going to be the video that's going to be a long one. So let's hang out. Let's talk. Let's talk about what's going on. What the hell? How is this playing? You don't even have buttons. Let's take it slow. Let's start off with a quick overview of the cabinet itself. What exactly is standing right here? This is right now, again, a new addition to my signature ByVic series arcade cabinets. This cabinet design right here is known as the ByVic. You can take a look at my past videos on why it's called the ByVic, and you can see my past ByVic cabinets. I have the dedicated shooter. You could also consider that as partially adding the Guitar Hero and DDR, my House of Rock cabinet. My 4-player is the main one that usually everybody gets. And now, proud to add the 2-player arcade cabinet. It's actually quite amazing. I've gotten several requests for 2 players instead of 4 players. Again, we're going to talk about everything later on. You're right now looking at, again, the ByVic 55-inch OLED 2-player arcade cabinet, 8-button layout for 2 players. Now this right here is the best part. There is a lot of customization that the customer requested on this specific cabinet. I do like to give that option. If you want something very custom, I will try my best to deliver. And I think I did a pretty damn good job on this one. The most common request as far as my ByVic series cabinets, people go, Vic, where is your marquee? Where is, I want to see NBA Jam logos and all that. Normally, and usually it is right here, but the biggest request I've gotten is people do want an active marquee. This right here is running a Pixelcade 27-inch active marquee. It is an amazing spot. It's in a perfect, beautiful spot. This way, while you're playing NBA Jam, you can put your NBA Jam logo right there. Again, the cabinet is pretty tall, so if you try to put an active marquee above this, not to mention, again, this is a 55-inch screen. I've seen the 55-inch active marquees, which I think are kind of ridiculously large. This right here is perfect. Again, the customer supplying this Pixel 27-inch active marquee. We went even another step further. He requested the 8-button Stream Deck Neo. So that is right here on the marquee. This customer is the type that does a lot of tinkering. He is Ray from Arpeg Electronics. He did have a lot of requests on this, so he wanted something just kind of convenient while he's either tinkering, setting up some gunfire stuff. He wants some quick action there. So again, the Stream Deck is another custom part. We also do have the custom audio setup. You don't see it right there, but I have it right here. He did go hard on this. We do have two 4-inch stereo sound Herdio Tech speakers along with a Fozy audio amp on this. So he did want some high-end audio, and I got that down. And probably the most important custom feature of this cabinet that was requested, he did want a front door swinging access panel to access not only his PC, but his other add-ons such as his gunfire guns and such. Custom shelf as well. A lot of space in this cabinet. I've never done that before. A front access panel. Man, there's a lot. There's a lot going on here. We're going to talk about the control panel, all that. You might be saying, Vic, like, how is there gameplay? You don't even have buttons and joysticks. Again, the customer is going to be doing that all on his side, but I just want to bring you down this so you can actually see the inside of this. Again, I've never done this before, a front swinging door panel. It's a lot of space inside the cabinet. Just like all other arcade cabinets, the bases are so empty, so you try to find very creative ways to fill them. You know, usually when you do a PC-based system, you put the PC there, but this one, the customer requested not only just, you know, a space for his computer, he may, I mean, I have my like little BS computer in this. He may be doing a whole like wall-mounted PC mount. If you know Ray is very bougie, so he'll probably do something. I just kind of have my basic PC desktop there. But he did also request a shelf. So this is pretty cool. I have like this is right here is a standard desktop case. So as you can see, standing upright, there's still a lot of room in there. And then I did also add the shelf for him. He might be using this as a multi-purpose thing. He does karaoke, so he might put maybe microphones here in his karaoke system here. All in all, though, a lot of space inside of this. The door alone is 32 inches. You got to just kind of visualize that. It's a 32-inch door. It's huge. But then not to mention the inside of it, it's about 30 inches deep. Again, all of this is custom. Ray, he's in Flushing. I will be delivering this to him, and I will be helping him bring it up to his apartment. I measured everything from the elevator doorway to the main entrance door to his door into his apartment. This right here is gonna fit through the door. Another big thing when it comes to customization. That's why I get a lot of requests. Vic, what's the dimensions? I build it around your needs. If you need to bring this down to a basement, you only have 28-inch doors. You know, I like to make sure everything is custom. Now, keep in mind, because I'm talking about, you know, dimensions, this control panel comes off. This whole panel comes off. It's technically two pieces. You have the base of the cabinet and the control panel. This control panel right now is sitting at 41 or 42 inches wide. Yeah, ain't no door 42 inches wide unless you're in Texas. So this comes off. So do not worry. It's not one solid piece. Control panel comes off. We basically bring it in as two separate pieces. Now, real quick, we can talk about the actual control panel itself. This one right here, what a challenge. Again, Ray, he's a very specific type of person. He's not using regular arcade buttons on this. He's using Quambas. I've never heard of Quamba. I had to go out and get a set from Amazon, and good thing I did because the Quambas are a little bit wider than a standard arcade button. This right here, I made a little short on this. Anything custom like that, I need parts in hand. The active marquee, you have to give me that. I could buy it, obviously, but I need it in hand. It's not something I get these people, I get customers that say, hey, I have a 27-inch active marquee. Like, can you cut it? Everything is like to the millimeter. I would physically need that active marquee. Yes, it's something that I have to do. Again, big example is the Quambas. These buttons are thicker. It's like no joke, probably about 2 millimeters thicker than a standard arcade button. Basically, try to think of it as if I cut the panel as a normal arcade button and then I gave it to Ray, it wouldn't work. He would now have to like Dremel and sand, and now you're gonna mess up art. There's a lot to it. That's why anything specific, if you're looking for specific parts and buttons and joysticks, I am the type where I do need that in hand. This way I can make sure it works out great. The control panel, I probably cut this panel about 3 times. No lie. The biggest reason I cut it 3 times is because of the trackball on this. Ray has this Sanwa trackball. I personally like the U-Tracks because they sit flush on 3/4 inch wood. This one right here, it's actually pretty crazy. If you look carefully, there is no nuts. There's no screws going through the deck. Another big request from Ray. Ray's like, oh, I love my Sanwa trackball, but I would love it if I didn't have 4 screws going through the deck. So I said, well, I could have a try at it. And as you can see, a custom mount right here for the trackball, it ain't going nowhere. And as requested, no screws through the control panel. Another cool thing which I'm doing now for all control panels, I now have the control panel hinged to open towards the rear. On my personal cabinet and past cabinets, I have it where it opens this way. Ray did request this. He said, hey, I want it kind of easy access. I did also give him a little kickstand here. This way you could get to work and have the, control panel up and out of the way. While I have it up, you can take a look again, going back to those Quambas. The Quamba buttons are shorter than standard arcade buttons. What does that mean? I now have to CNC cut out I took out about 1/4 inch, a little bit over 1/4 inch. This way now you could put the button and you got to put the screw. Again, another big thing, another big reason why I need custom buttons like that on hand. You're going to see I have a control panel right here. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Same thing, he's got gold leaf switches on that one. But you kind of see it right here. Again, you got your access here. Everything is nice and convenient. There's no wires being exposed. So you kind of have these 2 little secret pathways where you put your USBs through the rear and into the cabinet. Just clean. Also in the front, Ray, like I said, he does have his Gunfire guns. He does want the 2 USBs in the front. I do have that all there. Again, just amazing. The kickstand stuff is pretty cool. I did that for this panel. Let me show you real quick this second panel I have. Now again, you'll stay tuned for this one. This customer specifically only wanted a control panel, and coincidentally, he wanted 2 players. So this again is a 2-player, 8-button setup. This has the U-Track trackball spinner in it and all, as you can see, custom. Stay tuned. You'll see this the video on this control panel only request. Also keep in mind the cabinet is on casters. I just don't want to move it right now because I have the plugs and my screen's gonna go out. It's a-okay. But real quick, let's talk about the actual customer himself. Again, this is Ray, RPEG Electronics. What does he currently have? He currently has a 32-inch GRS, a Game Room Solutions arcade cabinet. I'll show you a picture of it right here. He took that cabinet, and as you can see, he does have a custom mount for that 27-inch active marquee. He had a couple of things to say about that cabinet. I've had that cabinet. I've built many of them in the past. The biggest issue that he had, though, is that he couldn't access the PC from the front. And then he wanted to do add-ons like adding the guns and the holsters. So he has like the guns on the sides, mounted on the sides. So this again is the advantage of being able to find somebody to custom make an arcade cabinet like myself. Again, he basically made a list of stuff that he wanted, and I'm pretty confident to say that I hit 100% of everything that he wanted. Again, a standard ByVic cabinet with add-ons, obviously. I even have here in the rear of the cabinet, I have a shelf here. So if he wants to put like Xbox controllers and all that, you do have that as well. Now, in Ray's situation, again, he is in an apartment. The placement of the cabinet is unique. He's got this side wall on the left that I believe I measured it. It's about 12 to 13 inches. So he has a 12, is it 12? Or is it more than that? Hold on. Yeah, it's a 12-inch deep wall. So he's like limited on space. That's the biggest thing that he told me. But that's where he saw. He physically came over, his first time ever coming over here when we met Joel and Brad. He came over and he saw my Scarface ByVic and he's like, whoa, I need that. It's like, I don't want that. He's like, I need that. There's a lot to this cabinet. That's what I love about it, the external TV. Again, he's running right now a 32-inch GRS. He's going to be putting a 42-inch screen on his build. He has the screen. You could supply your own screen, obviously. It's just great to see my design. You could put any screen to it. I have right now a 55-inch OLED. He's going to be putting a 42. So it doesn't really change cabinet dimensions. We would probably just have to adjust the TV mount. Now, I did ask him, hey, measure your TV. How far is the bottom of the TV to the bottom of the VESA mount? There's a lot of math to it. So I have the TV mount set up for his TV. I believe he has the 42-inch C1 OLED. But he said, hey, I saw your 55-inch. I might want to upgrade it to a 55. I have a customer that has a 65-inch TV. I had one customer that tried like a 78. As long as they are the newer LED OLED TVs, you could put any screen. I wouldn't go higher than like 86 though. That's a lot. Even like a 75, that's a lot. 65, that's a lot. My 55-inch, I think this is the sweet spot here. Again, plenty of room here and such. Again, Ray with the 32-inch arcade cabinet, he does light guns. He's like, I'm missing out playing Terminator Salvation on a 55-inch screen like you actually see at the actual arcades. I'm like, yes, this right here is the biggest thing. It's crazy. I have a Contra short on my YouTube, and this Contra short is right now to date still blowing up. And a lot of people, they make this comment where like, wow, the TV is way too big. You're way too close to the TV. I love it. I think it's perfect. That's what's great with my cabinet design. You want to go smaller, go right ahead. You could do any TV you want. I don't really understand why people are like so zoned in. 55-inch right here. What you see right here is a 55-inch, my standard. I think it's the perfect sweet spot. You could go less. You could go a little bit more. I wouldn't go a little bit more. But yes, you can put any TV to this. Make sure it's a newer TV. Do not put a 1995 plasma. It will most likely fall. So no, don't do that. Now that's really the basics of this cabinet. Active marquees are a very big deal now, especially for people that want multicades and stuff. This again right here is the 27-inch Pixelcade. When I give it power, it shows the Pixelcade logo. It looks great. But again, I had to have this monitor in hand. This way I could CNC cut out everything. This marquee panel alone, no joke, no BS, it took me about 6 to 8 cuts. Yes, it was tough. The first one, the hole for the marquee wasn't big enough. The marquee didn't fully go through. Basically, this has like a notch out. So right along the edge, there's still like monitor really behind the wood. Same thing for the Stream Deck. There's, a little bit of an edge to the Stream Deck. This is just the only way to make it as flush as possible. Now, what's crazy, this right here is that plexiglass from Ray's 32-inch Game Room Solutions cabinet. And it's kind of the same thing. This whole plexi, the monitor goes here, all the way up, edge to edge, but the screen is only here. This right here is about 1 inch. The bottom here is about 2 inches. It's just, there's a lot going on. I'm talking about the active marquee. Basically, it's very difficult. This was a big challenge. it was difficult to mount this. The placement of the marquee is the biggest deal. You want it high up. This is where a marquee would be. This way, if right where you're standing, you could see the marquee. If I'm up here, I could see it. Look at that, rolling thunder. It's funny, somebody actually noticed it. So I have OBS is running. I have YouTube on this screen and I have OBS running GIFs for this. You could usually see it on my TV over there. I have right now the arcade GIFs going on. So that's what's going on the second screen. I'm not running Launchbox. I'm not launching Big Box. My YouTube Wi-Fi is loading. I'm not launching like Launchbox on this. So I don't have actual active marquee going on. It's just for video purposes, I wanted to have something on the screen. Now I'm going to take you to the rear of the cabinet. Again, unfortunately, I can't move the cabinet. Ray has like the power strip and all that. So he's taking it from his GRS cabinet and then putting it in this cabinet. But real quick, just to show you, this is that little shelf I was talking about. If I could find something to put there, we could take this Neo Geo puzzle bobble and you could see it could sit, well, this is probably not a good idea, but yeah, there you go. That's, yes, there's a shelf here. I've always done that. Usually people put like Xbox controllers up there. That's what I have mine for. But again, let's take a look real quick at the mount, how I mounted that active marquee. So you can see the rear of the cabinet here. I do have a rear panel here. When I'm gonna deliver this to Ray, I'm leaving this open. This way we're gonna have a handle to carry this up. It's only 4 steps at the main entrance. But you can see here in the rear, again, I have the power. He requested 1 fan hole. So right now I just have all the power going there. But again, we are here to look at that right there. Look at that. Again, that right there is the 27-inch active marquee. The most difficult cut, because as you can see, look at the edge. I know, Joe, that right there is about 1/2 inch. That's all I have. It's a 1/2 inch of skin to mount. Look at that. Also on the top, you can see I have like the angled cut here. I have vinyl hiding it. But yes, that's that right there is a difficult cut. Now, as far as having this stay, I have these 2 wooden sticks here. That's what's giving it the support and not falling through. You can see right here the Stream Deck. Again, a support in the rear. That right there also took about 2 cuts on the CNC. A lot of trial and error on this. But yep, as you can see, that is your Stream Deck Neo. Well, over here you can see the audio. So again, he's got his 4-inch, and then he's got the amp here. It does have the audio cable, so he'll do the wiring for that. But yes, there you go. Now just to finish up on the active marquee, again, although I have a CNC machine, you know, it doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of millimeters, there's a lot of test cutting and all that to get everything down packed. When I was building this cabinet, I had the intent, I was like, I want this to be virtually bezel-less. But any screen, it does still have a little bit of a bezel. So as you can see on the rear behind this marquee, as you saw, it's 1/2 inch of meat that will hold this panel in place. As far as the front side though, it's 1 inch that covers up the TV. Again, it's not covering the TV, it's just that active marquee has black bezel, and just like his plexi, you know, you gotta cover the bezel. Again, the active marquee, this panel alone, this took about, no joke, 6 to 8 test cuts. That is the entire panel. That's not counting the test cuts that I did just to cut, like I did a test cut on a spare piece of wood just to cut the hole for the marquee. Again, having a CNC machine doesn't mean anything. That's why you need things in hand. Luckily, I had this active marquee in hand. Let's just say, for example, the whole entire marquee is 28 inches. My CNC, though, is reading it as like 29.3 inches. Why? I don't know. That's just part of life. That's what it is. So a lot of test cutting just for the marquee, and then also a lot of test cutting for the Stream Deck. Again, if you look very carefully, there's wood overlapping and covering the screen, and there's wood overlapping and covering a little bit of the Stream Deck. It's not a lot, but there is wood covering it. But yeah, this right here, I love it though. I'm happy with how it is. There was a lot of test cutting. Normally on a ByVic cabinet like this, it takes 4 sheets of 4x8 wood to make a ByVic arcade cabinet. 4 sheets, holy shit, that's a lot. Yes, 1 sheet is just the control panel alone. Whoa, what? Yeah, there's 2 control panels, and then you have the side walls. Like, yes, that's how much it takes. There's a lot of, like, yes, there's a lot of spare wood at the end of it. But for example, here, look at this. Like, what am I gonna do with this? I can't make a panel. That's where people really just don't understand how cutting wood works. But yes, normally takes me 4 sheets. On this specific build, because of the Marquee, I had to get an extra sheet. I had to waste 1 extra sheet. It doesn't really affect the customer, but I have to keep that in mind. And again, I use laminated birch. The wood I use is a laminated birch. I will never cut MDF. I will never cut melamine. I use laminated birch. Now keep in mind, once you cut this, even stock, this is sharp. This will slice fingers. Every build I do, I cut myself. Somewhere on my hand, I will have a cut. So when I deliver this cabinet, I will be bringing an extra set of gloves for Ray. This will slice. But again, just to note, laminated birch. You can see the edgings. Look at the actual, see that? That is birch wood. Birch. Now, Ray, my buddy Ray, if you don't know, he's bougie. What does that mean? He's extra. Ray wanted white. He wanted a white cabinet. So I said, hey, my guy could do white laminated birch. It costs more than the black though. And Ray's like, whatever it is, I want white. I said, okay, cool. Now you got to keep in mind though, yes, although I used white birch, white laminate, we still have to wrap the cabinet. This cabinet, yes, is wrapped. Yes, that is a white wrap. It still needs to be wrapped. I'm going to show you a real quick B-roll of this, and I actually got an email from a potential customer coming up. He's like, Vic, I just want a ByVic cabinet. I don't want it wrapped. I could do that, but you must keep in mind, no matter what, no matter how new your CNC router blade is, no matter the track saw blade, you will see like scuffs and bumps on the edges of this. It's very rare where I get a perfect one. That's where the vinyl comes in and will hide the scuff. So I'll show you B-roll real quick. You can see this control panel. Look at the left here. Again, you could just see like that's where the CNC, the router hit, and you just get little stuff. But again, the vinyl is what hides it. Going back real quick again, white laminated birch on this, even though I used white, which honestly, it was a good thing we did that because he wanted access to the front door. The inside of this cabinet is the actual stock white, like the white birch. But the outside, I must wrap it. You must have it wrapped. So yes, it is wrapped in white. Now I brought up the vinyl, so let's talk about the vinyl job on this and all that. So the start of 2025, some sad news to discover and learn. My normal vinyl printer, the person that prints the vinyl for me, Justin over at Gulf Coast Decals, got some bad news. Started off the year, he did close up shop. Real quick, again, big shout out to Justin, Gulf Coast Decals. Used him for years. I was grateful to find him because he's the one that gave me the idea for this embossed, textured laminate that I use. Now it's difficult to find a new printer that has this textured embossed laminate. It took me about a week to 2 weeks, but luckily I did find somebody local to me. They still need about a week to print, but at least I have something. So again, big shout out to Justin, Gulf Coast Decals. Good luck, as far as the future and all that. But yes, some sad news to discover. He basically just told me, listen, it's time to close up shop. So it is what it is. But on a good note, I do at least have a vinyl guy. Going back to vinyl on this, again, even though it is a white laminated birch cabinet, I still have to wrap it. And Ray, Arpeg Electronics, went with an all-white Ironman style look. Really cool. Quite a challenge, though, when it came to this. I'm not sure if you could see it on camera. You could definitely see it in person, and I'm actually a pretty big fan of this. What is going on there? the original cabinet / the original print, I actually did like my normal arcade cabinets. I usually do gloss sides, so gloss laminate on the side panels, the marquee, the speaker panel, everything gloss except for the control panel. The control panel gets embossed. Now, I got all gloss white, straight white on this cabinet. I did something that I never normally do, but I applied one side panel and I sent a picture over to Ray, and Ray was like, whoa, the white looks bluish white. And I'm like, no, Ray, like I have cool white LEDs in the garage, so it's like the camera and the light bouncing off, it's giving you that cool white look. All in all, though, he didn't like it. He was like, no, it looks blue to me. I actually delivered. I went and I gave him the entire control panel. Again, embossed control panel, which he loved, but this panel right here, which, yes, does get wrapped, this whole under control panel ledge, I had that white gloss, and he was like, no, Vic, I could just see like blue. And I had to contact my new guy that I found, and luckily he had the embossed. This is the first cabinet ever. It is totally the sides, the marquee, the speaker, even the front control panel here. Everything is embossed, textured, laminated on this cabinet. Now, just for kicks, I'll probably move the camera over, but I do have the sheet of the white laminate, white gloss. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but again, just white. Yes, white on white cabinet. This is the gloss white, and this is the one that I sent the picture to Ray, and he's like, yeah, no, I see it like blue. And I'm like, no, it's probably it's all in all A-okay. Normally I send pictures of the final cabinet like to customers when it's totally wrapped and done. This is the first time, and I mean, luckily because Ray is local, I went to bring the control panel and he was like, no, Vic, he couldn't unsee it. So what am I getting at? I had to reorder, and Ray said he'll pay for it. It is money. He's like, it's fine. I'll pay for the reprint on it. So pretty cool. The vinyl job on this, it took quite a while. The marquee portion, this is a very difficult piece to lay vinyl on because of this gaping hole. I'll be honest, I bought 2 sets of marquee. Luckily I did, because the first one, it just had this bubble and I couldn't get rid of this bubble. I relayed it though, and I got the second one, and luckily it's all good now. So yes, all in all. Now this is kind of cool. It's funny, it's all white, Vic. Like, how difficult is white? Once Ray saw that, we went into this whole color palette on Photoshop. It was actually funny, Ray, and I'll show a picture of it. Ray I gave him a spare piece of vinyl of that laminated gloss, and he put it up against like his furniture. And he was like, yeah, it's a different shade. And I'm like, Ray, like, it's going to be very difficult to match your furniture white to like another white. He had like IKEA furniture. So it's just funny. You just got to keep that in mind. Like, you'll never get it like the perfect white. Even black sometimes might be like a little bit of like a light black. Yeah, vinyl will get you to that. But it was a funny thing going back and forth with Ray on it. All in all, though, the side panels, the marquee, the speaker panel, it's a different white versus the white on the control panel. You could kind of see it on camera. Yes, 100% this is a different white. But also you could see on camera, this gives you that kind of blue hue. So now when I was reprinting, when I sent it to my local guy to print, I went and I changed it on Photoshop. I made it like, I don't know, I went and I changed the white. I know, right? You could change white. It's literally a couple of numbers off, and Ray likes how this came out now. So yes, awesome stuff. Now, as far as artwork on it, Ray said to me, hey Vic, I want to do like an Ironman. I want simple lines. So I went and I made something for the side panel, and he's like, no, I don't like it. He went and got a graphic designer for the actual control panel portion, which in all honesty, this day and age now, I would probably, say to pay a graphic designer. You're going to see this control panel here. This is a Star Wars cabinet, so I'm going to have a go at it, but I'm leaning more towards now getting a graphic designer involved. That is money. It does cost for that. Only, Ray wants some specific hard lines and all that. So he got a graphic designer involved. That was on his end. I believe he paid about $100 just for the graphic design of only the control panel. Keep that in mind. Only this was $100 to get a graphic artist to make. Now, in the whole meantime of this, I was explaining to Ray about Gulf Coast Decals closing up shop. He asked his graphic designer, who does he use to get prints from? He then got, I think it was called Game On Graphics or something like that, which I've used in the past, and they are expensive. Game On Graphics wanted $100 just to print the control panel. And I was like, Ray, that's a lot of money. That's expensive. So I was like, let me do the print. I'll worry about that. You just worry about getting the artwork done. And all in all, it came out great. Now, no joke, the control panel I printed out, I think it was 2 or 3 times. Yes, a lot going on this. There was reasons for it. Number one, I don't know if you can see on this panel, but I never do it, and I probably won't do it again, but it worked out great. Luckily, because it took 2 or 3 prints. On this panel, he has like the button inserts. He has like the coin and the start on the actual vinyl. Then he's also got the circle cuts for like the cup holders and the trackball. I always say this to everybody, my CNC machine is not 100%. What does that mean? If I have this hole at 12 inches and 12 inches on the dot, it might come out like 1/4 of an inch to the right or even like 1/8 of an inch. So it's never perfect. On this one, like I said, Ray was like, I want like the circles. I said, okay. I did the first print and then I noticed that it didn't line up perfectly. So it kind of worked out because we noticed the thing about the white. I did then the second print, but then I kind of modified his file to work with the circles and all that. This is one that is, it's funny. This one was, it's a clean sheet, but it was misprinted. Look at this. This is where my eyes are. I don't know if you can see that, but you see that line? Look at that line. You can see that, right? Right there. How that happened, I don't know, but there was like a line on this, so then I had to ask the printer to print another one. It's just one of those things where I see every little detail. Everything gets seen and it doesn't get by me. So yeah, vinyl, it no joke, you're looking at like 2 weeks. Ray's graphic designer took 2 weeks to make just the art file on it. So the reason I'm bringing this up, it's funny. I did the short showing off the cabinet, and then the cabinet sat for, I would say, a good 3 weeks. We waited on the graphic artist design, and then I printed art, and then we had to print it again, and then we had to print it again. So it's, yeah, mayhem. I feel like I went over everything. We talked about the cabinet, the custom cuts, the door panel, the marquee. Again, that active marquee, really awesome stuff. I wish I could take pictures of it like with buttons and joysticks, but Ray is going to be doing that on his end. He actually was like, can you drop the control panel off to me so I could wire it up for our stream on Friday? I'm going to be bringing it to him on Friday. I'm going to get all the videos knocked out. But yeah, that is the overview of, again, the first of many. It's quite crazy. The requests I get for 2-player cabinets. Now, just so people understand, if you want a 2-player deck or you want a 4-player deck, essentially, yes, it's going to cost the same amount of money. It takes the same amount of wood to cut. This right here probably saves me about 30 to 45 minutes on the CNC machine because I don't have to cut players 3 and 4, but it still costs me the same amount of wood. So if you're debating, hey, is there a price difference between the 4-player to the 2-player? No, it is not. It's actually funny, when Ray originally was talking about his control panel, he was gonna buy a keyboard, like a actual flat mounted keyboard, and you would have needed a bigger control panel for that. I'm kind of happy he didn't go that route. But again, a lot of space here. There's so much room. Way bigger, again, than his Game Room Solutions cabinet. The cup holders, he's like in love with it. I do always have LED cup holders, so these are white. You could get red, blue, or green, but these are white, so it will match with his theme. But yeah, that's kind of the basics. That's the gist of it. Again, a 55-inch screen on this. He's going to go 42, but I have a feeling he's going to upgrade to a 55-inch. It's just, look at it. It's like awesome. Like, you're just going to stand next to it. But yes, last quick note, because I mentioned about the TV. As of right now, if you do get a cabinet from me, it's a ByVic cabinet. If I'm shipping out this cabinet, I no longer include the TV. I will deduct the price. I get standard 55-inch LED TVs. They go for like $350, so I deduct $350. Oh, Vic, why? I've had 2 instances where I've sent out ByVic cabinets with 55-inch TVs, and TVs broke in transit. It's kind of weird because I keep the TV in its original box that I get from the store. I don't have a million TVs lying around. I go and I buy accordingly. Like, I buy it when I build the cabinet. So yes, if you are going to be buying a ByVic cabinet, it has to be shipped out. I will not be including the TV. I will give you the TV mount and all that. I will send you the TV that I get. And it's just easier for you to go and buy a TV at Best Buy and such, because in case it gets damaged, you have the receipt for that. But yeah, that's just something new that I'm doing. It just makes no sense. Why am I doing that? It doesn't make sense for me to buy a TV for $350. It breaks when you get it, and now I have to give you another $350 to buy another TV. I had one instance where the guy was like, oh, I want like an OLED, so like $350 is not going to cover that. I'm like, no, like, I plan later on, I'll probably do a video talking about the current state of being an arcade builder. This right here, I'm very happy with this because it was just a cabinet build. There's a lot of players in the game now, meaning drive builders, and like I said, stay tuned for another video. I think it's time where I could kind of just confidently talk about, I don't want to talk about other companies and badmouth them, but I'll throw 2 examples out. I have a local guy that has a Megacade. He's got a Megacade. I went over his house to fix this Megacade, and when I looked in the back of it, the amount of drives that are coming out of this computer is nuts. It's fucking crazy. No joke, there was like 5 external drives coming out, and not to mention the boot SSD. It wasn't even SSD. It was a hard disk drive. The boot drive is just like dangling outside of the cabinet. I'm like, what is going on here? This customer, the computer wouldn't boot. Long story short, apparently he had Omega drives, and it had like 5 additional add-on drives to make it like 60 terabytes. He went from Omega then to Integrum. Integrum, he had some issues with that. I was able to fix a little bit. We were trying to do some exit thing, and Jason Baker, he's got a very weird button combo to exit. Again, I'm not going to talk, I don't talk bad about others, but it was just crazy to hear that this guy spent so much money on this Megacade, and then he doesn't like it. He actually wants to sell it because there's so much going on, and he's like, I bought extra drives, and now I had to buy another drive, and I'm like, there's a lot of drive builders out there, and I get now the requests where people go, oh, I have my PC already, I have somebody else's drive, I just want a cabinet, but I want you to wire it for me. And I'm like, it won't be plug and play unless you tell me like what button 1 has to be wired to. There's a whole thing. There's a whole thing. This ad is annoying me. I had to fix that ad. It was annoying me. Again, I don't have an actual arcade set up to this. I just have a computer showing YouTube videos, but that ad was annoying me. But again, essentially, like, I like this. This is awesome. I just built the cabinet and it goes out. I've gotten that request where it's like, hey, Vic, I just need a cabinet. You know, people still want my 43 terabyte Ultimate Arcade build, which is now running Launchbox Big Box. I don't do updates. I haven't really wrote about it or posted it, but I do have a Discord channel where newer games, basically I'm just helping you find these games. I don't do updates. I have no time to do it. But yeah, we'll talk about that later on. I'm just excited that this one is cool. Just the cabinet. If you want just the cabinet alone, I could offer you that. If you want a whole complete plug and play build, it will cost you money. Yes, it will be expensive if I'm going to give you a plug and play build. Again, just real quick to mention, because we're talking about plug and play, I don't use cheap hardware. I'm not using Dell Optiplexes. My plug and play 43 terabyte builds are 5-figure machines. Yes, they start at $12,000. I don't normally like to say pricing, but you know, because someone's gonna look at this 5 years from now and be like, "Oh, the price is raised. What happened?" It's yes, I do 5-figure builds. There's a reason I do 5-figure builds. Going back on that Mega I was talking about, when I looked at that PC and it was only like a 3-year-old computer and it was running like a 1650 on it, it upset me. I don't even know how much the guy paid for it, but he had I think it was a 48-inch screen in it enclosed, and it had the whole 48-inch Marquee. I can only imagine what he paid, and it's just sad to hear that you pay so much money, you want to get rid of it, and it just didn't work the way you thought it would, and I have to tinker. I had to go buy somebody else's. That's fucking insane. But yes, that's my quick off-tangent rant. Well, guys, there you have it. The first of many ByVic 55-inch 2-player arcade cabinet with custom work, custom needs. You got that 27-inch active marquee, that 8-button Stream Deck. Stream Decks are getting pretty big now. People want them for convenience. Sometimes they remove the coins and the starts on it. This one I don't have powered on. It needs like drivers, and it also has an actual like LCD screen on this Stream Deck. It's called like the Stream Deck Neo. Yeah, Stream Deck Neo. Yeah, I'll let Ray deal with that. Again, custom 4-inch speakers with the custom amp. Mounting that amp was a nightmare, but I got it to work. Again, everything custom. You got the custom hinge opening upward, the custom mount on that Sanwa trackball. You got the dual USBs in the front, all white, totally embossed, laminated cabinet vinyl. Man, I'm just very excited to bring this over to Ray over at RP Electronics and let him enjoy. I love it. Building these things, I get a kick out of it. I love it, especially seeing the final result. It will pull hair. Like, I've pulled my hair out building this one, especially making the door and all that. But yeah, it's a big door, but it does swing. It does everything that Ray could ever possibly want on that. On that note, Vic VP, Gamecase Arcades. Freaking ads on YouTube.